Hello, Huntsville. I'm Cynthia Joyner.
And I'm Kelsey Zwack.
Today we're in downtown Huntsville at Mazzara's with the Church Street family.
Let's head inside and have some delicious Italian food. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Thanks for having us here today at this fabulous historic location. Can you tell us a little bit about this space?
Yes, so we are sitting currently at Mazzara's Vinoteca in the Humphrey Rogers Historic House on the Historic Register. You probably hear a little bit of noise behind us, and that is because City Hall is currently finishing up being built. We're very excited to have that across the street. This house is about 100 years old, and so we're sitting in what was probably one of the bedrooms.
Stephanie, you know I'm a foodie, so tell me about all this delicious looking food in front of us.
Well, if you are a foodie, then you came to the right place, because Mazzara's Vinoteca, every single one of our dishes, our recipes are all family recipes. They're all made from scratch, including our pastas are made from scratch. And so today we wanted to run the gamut through a couple of different things. So we did an appetizer, we did some entrees, and an amazing dessert. So right in front of you is going to be our lemon artichoke ravioli. It is divine. It has ricotta cheese in it. It has all that beautiful green color to it. The salad is probably something that I eat on a consistent basis. I love burrata, but who doesn't love cheese? And so this is going to be heirloom tomatoes, burrata, and of course with a little bit of toasted bread in there to scoop up that yumminess. This dish is probably one of our most popular, and this is called cioppino, and you have to say it just like that. Cioppino.
Cioppino.
There you go. So this is a beautiful Italian dish. This is a wonderful, right now we're in Lent, and so this is a beautiful dish to have on your Friday. It is also a traditional Christmas dish in Italian heritage as well. If you're doing the dinner of 7 fishes for Christmas. This is lobster, mussels, shrimp. It is as delicious as it is pretty. And then, of course, last but not least is our trio of cannolis. And so we have a chocolate cannoli, pistachio, and then the original.
Wow. So for someone who's watching their love handles, their weight, what do you recommend?
You have come to the wrong restaurant if you are looking at that. So Italian food is rich, if not anything else. But we have amazing selection of seafood. We have salmon on the menu as well. Our salads are pretty beautiful. And I always say, eat what you want, just, do it in small pieces,
I think this is healthy.
I love it. This is yours.
Yeah.
All right. So the sauce in this is so good that we actually sell it as a side dish because people want more of it after. So it's pretty delicious. I'll even segue a little bit into sea salt. So if you go to Sea Salt and get the Manhattan clam chowder, it is the same base as our cioppino here at Mazzara's.
Yum.
Can't wait to try that.
So we know what I like, which is this, and we know what you like, which is all of it. But what would you say is your most popular dish for local patrons?
So it does run the gamut, and the cioppino is probably one of our most popular dishes amongst our customers. However, we do have a rigatoni chicken dish that is divine, and I do recommend that. Our chicken marsala is probably something that I eat on a consistent basis. The shrimp scampi is super popular as well.
I was thinking, like, if I had a hard day at work or ran into Kelsey and she's stressed out and had a really tough day at work and she wanted to come in the restaurant and get something that's very delicious and she needed a glass of wine, what wine do you recommend to pair with perhaps that dish in front of you? How do you pronounce it?
Cioppino.
Cioppino.
If you say it like that, it makes it just ring, right? It's rolls off your tongue.
Yeah.
And so we have an amazing selection of wines. As you know, we also own Church Street Wine Shoppe as part of the Church Street family. And so we have brought in over 50 wines into the state that have never been here before, and a dozen wines from the country, or into the country rather. And so here we're at Italian restaurant, so we have an amazing Italian selection. And gosh, if you want a Chianti, we have that. A Valpolicella, we have that. If you're looking for a Barolo, we have that. So as far as our Italian wines go, it runs the gamut. Now, I always tell people they want to pair dinner and wine, or especially when they want to do that at home, there's a really simple rule that's called what grows together goes together. And so
I didn't know
you
that.
eat Italian food, you would want Italian wine. You eat French food, you pair it with French wine. I'm a big proponent also of pairing Oregon wines with salmon and certain foods and terroir that goes there. So if you came in, you had a hard day and you said, hey, I really want a glass of wine, I would probably look at what you were eating and then we would pick a beautiful Italian selection off the wall. All of the recipes are family recipes. So when we first opened, we didn't have meatballs on the menu.
Okay.
And I was asked, the manager was like, oh, everyone keeps asking about meatballs. So I said, hold on. I texted my mother and she typed up a recipe and sent it over. I printed it out, it goes into the kitchen. So that's kind of how authentic they are. So some are my grandfather's recipes, some are my grandmother's recipes, but most of them are kind of coming out of my mother's kitchen, essentially. My mother's name is Carmela, and so Carmela's meatballs are specifically my mother's meatballs. But the name Mazzara's is actually my grandparents' name, so it's my mother's maiden name. So that's kind of a fun fact too.
That is amazing. Fun fact.
So with these being your personal recipes, I mean, is that very difficult to trust another chef with these personal secret family recipes?
So we're really blessed to have amazing chefs that put all of their heart into what they do. And I think that they are equally excited and proud to create these recipes and produce them and get them on a table looking amazing. Like everything is perfect, from where they're putting the greenery on the tomatoes or how they're putting the jam on the cannolis. You know, look at how the tomatoes are placed on your dish. So there's so much pride that goes into that. And I think that the customers feel that. And then they have this amazing old world recipe. I honestly think that the two worlds collide perfectly. I mean, Mother has eaten here and given her stamp of approval. So I guess we're doing something right.
Wow.
You're doing a lot right.
Right, it's delicious. It's yummy stuff.
Oh, yes. So who is the chef here at Mazzara's?
So our amazing chef here, his name is Erasmo Benitez. He's been with Church Street Family for a while. I believe he was a sous chef at Purveyor before being promoted from within, and we are great proponents of promoting from within our business. Our GM here, which is our general manager, just won General Manager of the Year for the state of Alabama, and he started as a server at Purveyor. And so as people show their interest in moving up, we do train them accordingly. And I always look for passion in people because everything else can be trained, but that's something you have to bring to the table. And so the whole team really works well together. And they all kind of moved up the ranks to come here and give this amazing dinner that we are looking at tonight.
Make art every day.
Yes, exactly.
It's beautiful.
Stephanie, can you tell us all about Church Street Family?
Absolutely. Well, and let me ask you, have you guys visited some few? All right.
Big fans.
So there's quite a few in the portfolio. And I don't think everyone actually even knows just which restaurants are ours as you kind of wander through downtown. So our very first restaurant was Church Street Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, which is on Church Street. Kind of started everything, and that's where the name of our company comes from. We do have two of those. We have a second one in Providence that's doing phenomenal now. That has an extensive wine menu, but it also has a tapas menu in there that is absolutely beautiful, and home to our wine club where we have over 500 to 600 members that meet monthly, and we do a 5-course sit-down wine tasting and with food pairing, and it's unique and it's fun and it's exciting. Kind of followed up, Purveyor was number 2. Eclectic American is the style of that restaurant, and we like to say that Church Street Family creates immersive experiences. So where our wine shops were designed to feel and give off the presence of a Northern California tasting room, and the whole concept there is to taste wine and then purchase a bottle to go. Purveyor, I get a lot of Chicago, I get a lot of DC, it's got more of a city vibe to it, which is super fun. And we've recently added a piano bar to Purveyor. So open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On Thursdays, you can have dinner and listen to jazz from 5 to 9, but we're open till 11. Fridays and Saturdays, we don't open till 10 p.m., but we're open till 1:30 a.m. All local musicians, they're pretty amazing. We do piano and singing. I've done piano, singing, and a saxophone, so it kind of runs the gamut. And we have a small bites menu that's available till 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's a really great space for after a gala, after a Black Jacket Symphony, when you just want one more drink, a little bite to eat. I highly recommend it. It's been exciting.
I'm excited it's open till 1. I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
I didn't
Thank you for
either,
sharing.
yeah.
And it gets busy. We do
Yes.
take reservations, so I highly
Awesome.
recommend it. And if we're just kind of walking down the street, because 4 of these restaurants are all on the same street, you would hit Catacomb next. Catacomb is our underground speakeasy. If you have not been there, I totally recommend it. It is password protected. You'll get an email with a password. When you get in, it's a 2-hour max, reservation only. We do not have a menu. The way that Catacomb works is you would choose, you get a list, and you would choose 1 spirit and 2 flavor profiles, and all drinks are kind of made to your mood and your palate. So as a foodie, you would really enjoy that drinking experience as well. Just right up the street from that is Sea Salt, the Urban Oyster Bar, where we have the Overboard Mary. It's a $90 Bloody Mary that comes with a full lobster and oysters. But a lot of people think, oh, I don't eat oysters. I don't want to go there. However, we have lobster, we have shrimp, we have crab, and we do have some non-seafood items as well. My number 1 recommendation probably, though, at Sea Salt is the grilled cheese sandwich. It is a triple cream brie, lump crab meat, and sriracha and peach chutney sandwich, and it's to die for. So I highly recommend it. As you kind of continue down that street, you will eventually hit this house where we're sitting right now, which is this historic, beautiful 100-year-old house kind of sitting in the middle of a downtown city, which is super fun, that houses Mazzara's. As we go out a little further, Pourhouse over at Stove House is also a bar with no food, but you're welcome to take the food in from any one of the food vendors and eat at Pourhouse. But we have 5 TVs and a big screen TV, so it's a great place to watch sports, kind of hang out. It's the first rooftop bar in all of Huntsville, and so you can listen to bands, and it's a round bar, which was designed to really create community, and so everybody's kind of inclusive in, let's say, a conversation when you get together. I'm probably missing 1 or 2. I'm sure of it. The Test Kitchen at the Orion Amphitheater was the first restaurant that they brought to the amphitheater, which was like a brick and mortar, and that's been really fun as well. Well, that's most all of them, if not all of them. Oh, Lil Mazzara's, I almost forgot.
Okay.
So we just recently opened Lil Mazzara's in Athens, Alabama, and that's kind of a smaller version of this. The menu's also a little bit smaller, but it's in the historic downtown Athens.
Downtown Athens is booming.
It is booming, and people are coming out to play there, and it's such a wonderful community. And that was designed to look like a Brooklyn trattoria style restaurant, and I really think we hit the nail on the head there.
We need to go on a field trip.
Oh, we do.
Oh,
yes.
yes. A foodie field trip.
Yes.
We
I
need to
agree.
just take the whole weekend and just test every
Every-
restaurant.
Yes, that will be fabulous.
Let's look at our calendar.
Okay.
So which locations have you visited?
Okay. So I've visited Purveyor
Okay.
at least 40 times. I've visited Catacomb, which is absolutely fabulous, and you do need a reservation there. I've tried to visit Catacomb more times, but it's worth it. It's worth
I'm going to
it.
give you a secret about that. but
Okay.
You continue.
Me all the secrets.
Okay.
I visited this restaurant and I've loved it. Pourhouse, also fabulous. You named so many of my favorites, and like you
Nice.
said, they all have a very unique identity and brand and flavor profile, and they all have the same quality ingredients
Yes.
and pride, but they're all very different.
We are. So we are very pro customer service. So you should get the same amount and equal customer service no matter where you go, whether you're at Purveyor, which is a more high-end restaurant, or Sea Salt, which is super casual. The customer service experience should be the same. We very much promote come as you are, and inclusion, meaning you're coming from Zoom in your t-shirt and leggings. You are treated equally as the gentleman who's sitting in tuxedo because he's going to a gala. There should be no reason that your service and your quality of food should be different. My husband and I are very casual people, and we do not think that dressing up
Right.
and good service and great food is mutually exclusive. We think that we should be able to walk in anywhere, however we are, and if that's what we're looking for, kind of receive that same service. So I told you I had a little secret for you. All right. So the next time you are downtown
Okay.
and you want to go to Catacomb, but you don't have a reservation,
Yes.
doesn't happen often, but it does happen. There is a red light
Okay.
On both sides of that building, there's a bulb. And if that red light is on, we're accepting walk-ins.
Okay.
I didn't
That's
know
my
that.
new trick.
Yes.
I'm going to impress all my friends.
So you'll go over to the red box that you'd have to buzz in to get in, and you'll hit, say, red light.
Okay.
They're probably going to go, oh, shucks, I left that on.
no. Oh,
But
that's
that's
so funny.
okay. They'll ask how many people are in your party.
Okay.
And they might just say, I have an hour, but you can come in for an hour. They could say, we have 2 hours, but they'll tell you how long you can stay, and they'll let you in.
That is awesome. And you guys really do curate an experience for the individuals there. So if there were to ever be a place to pre-plan for a special occasion, that is the place.
And I tell people a lot of times, if you plan it because Catacombs are very pre-dinner, post-dinner drinks. So Purveyor's a half a block up the
Right.
street. Mazzara's is 2 blocks down the street. So it's always great to make a reservation, have drinks, and then plan your dinner or vice versa. Because they're so close in proximity, it's really gives you a complete experience of dining and drinking for the whole night,
How do you plan your mixology menu?
So Matt Ortega is our beverage director, and he does all that. He is extraordinary. Some really fun tidbits about Catacomb are that every juice that goes in your drink is fresh squeezed. Every syrup, almost every syrup, is made from scratch.
Wow.
So if you ask for, and I tell people, don't try to trick the bartender, because what you ask for, you're going to get. If you want spicy, it's going to be spicy, because he's probably reduced down wasabi, or he's reduced down peppers of some kind to add that touch of spice. All of our fruit is dehydrated on site. All of our herbs are grown in terrariums on site. So those drinks are so curated and they're so pure. And that really adds to it.
Awesome.
So how did you decide which restaurant to include in the Church Street family?
So it's a lot of putting your ear to the ground and listening. And I think that's one of the things I try to tell people all the time. There's no ego in restaurants. There's no ego in business at all. It's what's working, what doesn't work. And so we listen. We take great constructive criticism. And so as we're talking to people, I'm kind of saying, oh, I can see what we don't have. There's a niche missing here. However, I always say all I'm doing is creating restaurants I want to go to, and now I'm too busy to go to them. But, I'll tell you, for Mazzara's in particular, my husband and I, every time we leave town, the first thing I'd say is, let's go get Italian food. And he's like, okay. And, oh, we're going somewhere, let's go get Italian food. And he finally was like, if you like Italian food this much and you miss it this much, let's open an Italian restaurant. I said, I'm game, I have recipes. And so this particular restaurant was kind of born out of this, me just always looking for the best Italian restaurant when we left town. But Sea Salt essentially is in a parking garage. And so there's a lot of restrictions and restraints to that. So if you knew you had to open a restaurant and you couldn't put a hood in it, what would you make? A raw bar. And so some of them are kind of made out of, what do I have to work with? Other things are niches that are just not existing currently in town that I know I can fulfill at a very high level.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because my next question was, how did you come up with such the unique things and the cuisine?
And not a lot of people know that I design all the restaurants.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I design them, I decorate them. So essentially, once we know there's another concept we want to do, sometimes we have the concept first and we look for the space. Other times spaces become available and we just like the location, or I can just picture, a particular concept in that space. And then, so sometimes the chicken does come before the egg, and sometimes it's the other way around. So it just depends.
Wow.
Is this an opportunity to make a request?
Absolutely.
I think an Owens Crossroads wine bar fancy salad,
Oh,
where we could go and get a nice salad for lunch on a beautiful day.
that's
And
so
a
outside
crisp-
seating. and-
Yep. Where you could do a soup and salad sandwich or do an early dinner.
Yeah, I know there's not a ton going on over at Owens Crossroads,
Where you
right?
can eat. There is a ton going on in Owens
Oh,
Crossroads.
okay.
We're hungry. There are
Well, a lot of growth, but I don't know
there-
about restaurants.
Right, so
You
it's
guys
an
are-
opportunity. Where's mine?
Yeah,
Or
let me
I'm
give this
hungry,
to
right?
you.
I'm sorry.
And you'll have that one.
Okay. But we're hungry over there.
No, I might need a spoon for this one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm
So
excited
gorgeous.
you guys are going to taste a little something. So this is our burrata salad, and it's got a little bit of cracked black pepper. And so the outside is very much like mozzarella, or mozzarella, depending on how you say it. On the inside, it's very creamy, and it's actually called stracciatella in Italian, but essentially it's almost like ricotta cheese.
Yummy.
All right, I should dig in.
Okay, perfect.
I'll let you go first.
So polite. Thank you, Cynthia. Should I just cut it?
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
We're all
I'll do-
family.
We are paisan, right?
That's right. So you said you're Italian. What part of Italy does your family come from?
Asiago.
Oh, okay.
They're northern Italian.
And so my family's from Sicily.
Oh, cool.
So couldn't get any more southern
That's good.
Italian, which is kind of
A lot
fun.
of awesome things come from all over.
Mm-hmm. So there are a little bit of Sicilian nuances here and there
Okay.
in some of the dishes, and then some of it is made just for approachability.
Okay. This might be a bigger bite than I needed, but I'm gonna love it.
So, Stephanie, I'm a realtor, so I really would like to know what attracted you to the Rocket City.
So it's actually a pretty fun story. My husband grew up in Scottsboro. So he's originally from Scottsboro. His mom was a nurse. His father, a union iron worker, helped build Bellefonte, the nuclear power plant. And so once that was done, following the work, his father moved the family to New Jersey. And when I met Matt, he was living in Manhattan. I was working in Manhattan at the time. And I'm originally from Long Island, New York, but lived in Manhattan, went to school in Manhattan. And so my company, and I worked in the fashion industry for 20-something years prior to being in restaurants. And my company had moved kind of marketing and production and all of that stuff to LA. So I had an opportunity to relocate, and so we relocated to Los Angeles, lived in Orange County, worked in LA, and my husband didn't love California, and he was like, okay, we've been here 3 years, what do we want to do? And so I, for all intents and purposes, retired and said, okay, well, I don't really want to move back to New York. Now, my in-laws had retired back in the house he grew up in Scottsboro. So through the years, I was visiting them. In Scottsboro, my mother-in-law would always bring me to Huntsville. And so when he said he was kind of done with California, what do you want to do? And I said, what would you think about moving to Alabama? And he was stunned. He was like, you would move to Alabama? And I was like, absolutely, I would move to Alabama. And so we came out here for about a month, checked things out, and we noticed very quickly there was no place for significant others to unpack their day, because this is 2011.
We were hungry.
And there were wonderful restaurants with amazing wine lists, but they wanted you to eat and they wanted you to leave. And we were getting so used to, or we were used to California, where there was a wine bar in every corner. And you could sit and chit chat, whether it was your girlfriend, your spouse, or whomever, unpack your day, have a glass of wine, and just relax. And I think we noticed very quickly that that was a niche that was missing here. And we were definitely right, because I would say we opened Church Street Wine Shoppe in September of 2014. And less than 12 weeks later, people were like, you need to expand. You need to open something else. And I was like, whoa, I just got here. Let's just, I just want to kind of revel in this really cute shop we have. And we found out that food was very important. And so hired a chef. Ended up opening Purveyor in 2017, and it was really a success out of the gate. So I think the city was just really excited and welcoming and ready for this renaissance, which we are now blessed to live through.
Wow. Well, any plans of expanding towards 72 East on that beautiful side of Huntsville?
Right now, I would say we're always open to opportunities. We never turn down a meeting. I always think it's interesting to see what's going on. And we're pretty calculated. We say no a lot more than people realize we say no, because they probably think you must never say no. We say no a lot. So you never know. I mean, you can never say never, right?
She already gave us one secret.
So I know I had mentioned Brandon, who's the GM here, won Best GM of the Year for the state of Alabama, but I am very proud to say that Matthew and I actually, my husband and I, won Best Restaurateurs of the Year in the state of Alabama.
Wow,
congratulations. And so, thank you. So across the entire state, being recognized at the state level for kind of everything we're doing here, and they're seeing the growth in Huntsville has been really exciting. And when people ask me about it, I always say, and if you ever see the trophy, it's about my height. It's huge.
that's
It's
awesome.
a huge trophy. And it moves around. So it was here for a few months. Now it's at Purveyor. And that's really a team award because I obviously don't do this by myself. My husband doesn't do it by himself. And so the amazing food we just talked about, Erasmo, cooked that. If you go to Purveyor, our amazing chef, Valentino, is there. And I'm not cooking the food necessarily. And Matt Ortega is taking care of, the amazing beverages that we get to enjoy at each of our spaces. And so although we may orchestrate it all and keep the trains running on time, there's no way we could accept that award without thanking everyone on our team for doing what they do at such the level they do it.
So it's very clear that you love your community. What is one big way you're excited to give back in 2024?
So Church Street Family is philanthropic, and actually we created Church Street Family to be philanthropic. And so it's kind of one of our purposes. And giving back, which we also give back to our employees. We're a very employee-centric company, which is also from employing from within, but we work with each of our employees as well to make sure they're meeting their personal goals as well. But with the community itself, we run the gamut from almost every charity in town that we try to do our best to support. I started in 2022 choosing one charity for a year that I kind of hyper support. Mm-hmm. And so Village of Promise was 2022, Kids to Love was 2023, and in 2024 it's Merrimack Hall.
Oh, cool.
And as you can kind of see, we really run towards children in particular and what we can do to help that portion of our community. And so Merrimack Hall, between dealing with children, but now special needs kids as well, is really dear to our hearts. That we, New Hope Children's Clinic, we did the first wine run they've ever had to support them, and that is a great organization. But there's probably not an organization that, if I can get to the emails quick enough, that I would support in some way, shape, or form.
Well, thank you for all that you do for Huntsville.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure. It's our pleasure to cook for you, to serve you, to wine and dine each of you. That's what we're here for. So I always like to tell people, because you dine with us, purchase wine from us, or, it is your way of giving back to the community. And Church Street Family, being so giving, could not do that, could not be that giving without the support of everyone who comes in. So we hope we feed you well, and so that you keep coming back. So a couple of really quick things on that same point with charity is I have a lot of small entrepreneurs that will come and ask me questions, and how'd you get started and how did you get so well known? And my biggest advice is charity, charity, charity. Get your product in a silent auction. Go out on that limb and do a live auction item. It may cost you more, but the amount that you get back from that, you are getting in front of different groups of people and different demographics that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get in front of by being in an auction. So whether it's the gala, whether it's the Mad Scientist Bash, any of them, they're all these very, unique groups of people. And so it's free, except for, it's almost a trade. So for your services, but I think it's the most valuable advertising that you can do and give back, and then have people start to say, oh, I don't even know where that is. And now they do an auction, or you just got in front of, a lot of times these events are 200 people. So it's probably one of my biggest pieces of advice to small entrepreneurs, that I'll just say, you should definitely support your nonprofits. Absolutely. Also, from a community perspective, I do sit on a lot of boards, so as well as kind of feeding everybody, and of course working with our local charities, I do think it's important to be a part of the community in a leadership position as well. And so I sat on the board for Downtown Huntsville Inc. for 6 years. I was their first female chair, board chair in the history of that organization. I sat on the Chamber of Commerce board, as well as the foundation board for the Museum of Art. Art is extremely important, and museums are very important to your community and to the cultural aspects. Chamber just keeps you involved in what's going on in the community to make sure that we are a profitable city as well. And from a small business perspective, we need to keep them them being all small businesses front of mind for our chamber. And so I think that's important. And I sit on the board of the Alabama Hospitality and Retail Association for the state of Alabama. And that is just to have North in Alabama, I'm going to say North Huntsville, but it's North Alabama on the radar for the state and what we're doing here, and so that they can start to support us, because we are kind of going through a renaissance that we need to let them know we're here, and we want things too.
When you're not working, what are you doing?
So we work a lot. Gosh, probably read. I read more than anything else. My favorite thing to do even on vacation is I will sometimes get 3 or 4 books, because I can read 2 or 3 books in a week if I'm sitting down. And so definitely reading. I'm a movie buff. I do like to sit in front of a TV and just watch. I could go to the movies all day and just watch new movies. Gosh, when I had a day off and I saw Creed. It was a great movie. I thought it was awesome. Now I grew up with Rocky, of course, so all those movies were just really nostalgic. And I thought that was a great movie. Movies, books, I know that sounds boring, but when you do so much during the day, there's not much you want to do when you're off. So that's about that. Now, I did teach Sunday school for years and years at Holy Spirit from 2011 to 2019. When the pandemic hit, I keep telling myself I have to go back. I used to say that was my 1.5 hours of joy every week. I taught kindergarten. So I don't currently do that, but that is definitely on my radar, something to kind of go back to.
So if I'm new in town, how do I find you?
Awesome question. So we do have 2 websites, and they're both super important. So one is going to be churchstreetfamily.com. If you go to churchstreetfamily.com, it's going to list all of the restaurants. If you click on any of the icons for those restaurants, it will tell you our hours, what the attire is, what the vibe is. So it kind of gives you an idea before you get here. It also has a shop portion where you can buy an e-gift card if you wanted to. And then the other website is called The other website is called eventsnorthalabama.com. So if you go to www.eventsnorthalabama.com, that is a Church Street Family website, and it lists all of the events that Church Street Family does throughout all of our businesses, which is quite a bit. So Pourhouse, we do trivia. At Mazzara's on Thursday nights here, we have live music. At the wine shops, Saturday nights there's live music. Providence is Thursday night. The piano bar, it'll tell you who's playing there. It'll tell you about a wine festival that we have coming up. It'll talk about tastings and wine dinners and supper club and wine club. So all the activities that Church Street Family is up to goes on to those sites. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Church Street Family is very excited to announce a partnership with Huntsville City Football Club and Wicks Family Field to create a stadium series coming this year. This will be our first year. And a little play on the World Cup is the 3 festivals is the Wine Cup, the Beer Cup, and the Spirits Cup. So if you go to that website, you'll be able to check it out. But the Wine Fest is, or the Wine Cup is April 6th. We're very excited. It'll be over 100 wines to taste, and we will have celebrity chefs from the Food Network there cooking up some food. We're going to introduce our new catering chef. And so you go to the Huntsville City Football Club's website to purchase tickets. June 1st is the Beer Cup, and the Spirits Cup is in October.
Wow, there is so much going on in Huntsville, and people say there's nothing to do. She just gave us so many things to do in Huntsville.
There's a lot going on in Huntsville. Check out Church Street Family.
Like and subscribe to Hello Huntsville today on all your favorite podcast platforms. Sponsored by the Cynthia Jordan Real Estate Group, Jeff the Mortgage Guy, and Tony with T-Mail in the Morning Show.